Welcome to the Q1 Buck Poll. I'm Tim Hart-Haverhill. He's Mike Big Buck Hoffner. Well, today we have a potpourri of information. It's not just about deer.
It's the smorgasbord of opportunity to learn everything and anything you want to know about hunting in Michigan.
An array of hunting topics today. Well, we've got new bucks on the show, but we also have Chad Fedewa is going to be talking with us from the DNR about the pheasant restoration project going on up at the Maple River Game State area. And then we've got Tony LaPratt talking about food plots. You know, he's got a lot of deer on his property, and we did some plowing earlier in the year. I videotaped that, and then now the deer are out, and they're kind of eating what he has planted over the years.
Yeah, I'll tell you, pay attention to his recipe. You're going to be successful with growing big deer on your property.
We also have an interview with a successful hunter. Darren McCarty is with us today. And then we got to talk to Ted Harprum from Dart and Archery. He's going to talk about what kind of crossbows we're giving away this year. And Mike, we've got party information.
Yeah, we've got everything. You know, I can't wait till the final prize party. It's been awful cold and snowy, Tim. So today's one of those days I feel warm and fuzzy and learning a lot about what we have to share to our viewers today.
Stay tuned. We've got bucks coming up here on the Q1 Buck Poll. Firekeepers Casino and Hotel present the Q1 Buck Poll. Well, when you talk about pheasant restoration, 50 to 75 years ago, as I said earlier, Michigan was huge. Then you had all the, the farming coming in. A lot of the land was, I don't want to say destroyed, but it was used for other things. Mm-hmm. And so the population kind of waned. Well, they now are trying to work on it with the DNR to bring back the pheasants.
Well, that was one of the things I was really excited about. Coming from the UP, I used to hear stories about the pheasant hunting on the southern part of the state. And I'll tell you what, it's putting that habitat aside, which our farmers are starting to do. There could be a comeback.
We're at the Maple River State Game Area. I've got wildlife biologist Chad Fedewa with us. And Chad, let's talk quickly about the restoration initiative. Tell me how that's going with the pheasants.
Good. We've started a project here at Maple River in 2011. We partnered with Pheasants Forever to plant about 100 acres of different grass mixes right on the game area, and over the course of 5 years we'll have over 250 acres in a contiguous block of good quality pheasant habitat here at Maple River.
Now, for people that want to get involved in this initiative, and maybe they've got a tract of land or multiple tracts of land, are there things that they can do?
Yeah, we're trying to spark up some pheasant cooperatives in southern Michigan. Pretty similar to quality deer management cooperatives in the respect that it's groups of landowners with the same goal. So you can contact your local wildlife biologist or conservation district in your area if you're interested in starting a co-op in your area. We can get you in touch with the right folks. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of programs out there that will help cost share some of the habitat work in order to restore some of that open pheasant habitat that we've lost over the last few decades.
How long does it take to, let's say you're going to plant switchgrass or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. Are we talking about a year, 2 years, 3 years before that's really mature and ready to go?
Yeah, in some stands, if you get a really good catch, you'll see a pretty good stand within a year, but the general rule of thumb is 2, 3, even 4 years in some cases, where you'll really start to see that real solid, thick stand of switchgrass, or even some different grass mixes. Sometimes they'll take a little bit longer to establish above ground. They work on the root system initially after you plant them, and then after a while they'll start building that mass above ground.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there a certain type of soil that would be better than others?
The grasses warm season grasses are what we typically use. We do have some cool season grass mixes. The difference is the time of year that they grow best. So obviously a cool season grass will grow well in the early summer, late spring, and into the late fall. Warm season grasses really come on in July and August when it's real hot outside, there's a lot of sunlight, and those warm season grasses will stand up real well to snow as well. So they provide good winter cover for pheasants because they're hardy, they stand up to that snow cover. and you know, provide some good cover during the winter.
Well, I tell you what, if you've not been pheasant hunting, that is something they need to do, because the dogs are working, the people are, you know, walking, and there's a lot of movement going on. Me as the somebody behind the camera, I love it because you know where the pheasant's coming out, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and a lot of the viewers will probably remember back several decades ago when pheasants were king, and much like deer are now. You know, schools shut down on opening day of pheasant season, and you know, that's how a lot of people grew up, was hunting pheasants and hunting small game. So part of the Pheasant Restoration Initiative is to try to get back to that a little bit on some local landscape levels, and really bump up that pheasant population in some of the areas, create some of those opportunities for kids growing up now to do some more small game hunting. And you know, it also helps drive some of the local economies. You know, some of the areas are destinations for a lot of folks, and you know, they bring in groups of hunters, and you know, they're eating at the local restaurant, they're at the gas station. So we're working on areas of public land, and we have private landowners surrounding some of our public lands that are starting up these co-ops. So we're looking for big, large tracts of land to work on this initiative.
Sounds like a great initiative.
Yeah.
What it sounds like. Thanks for being with us, Sarah.
Yeah.
Chad Fedewa, wildlife biologist with the DNR. I'm Tim Hart, and you're watching the Q1 Buckle. Well, it is very cold outside. We've had a lot of snow, a lot of freezing temperatures, but that just makes the deer move more. And today we're going to be talking with Tony LaPratte about deer movement, some of the food plots that he planted earlier in the year. What are the deer doing now with those? But before that, it's your turn, Big Buck Hofter, with some big bucks.
Let's rock and roll. Walter Ostrowski from North Mid-Michigan brings in a 9-pointer with a score of 47, and Kevin Smith brings in a 9-pointer Southwest Mid-Michigan, the score of 42 3/4.
Well, it is cold outside when we're talking to Tony LaPratte today. Tony, back on the Q1 Buck Poll, as always, welcome. Great tips from him. Ultimate Land Management and the Whitetail Boot Camp, and so we always like information. Now, today, we are going to talk about, as a hunter, evaluating yourself.
Yes.
What do you mean?
What I mean by that is a lot of guys, and even people I know pretty good, they have not changed their hunting style in 10 years. And what I mean is they go out, they do basically the same thing, and they get that mixed results. What you need to do is, not only have we been talking about how to start fixing up your property and making it better, a hunter needs to fix himself. Okay, a guy like me, I'm supposed to be at the top of my field. You want to know what? I change every year. I become better because I evaluate myself getting in and out of the stand. Now, what I want to also talk about is most guys, when they go in hunting, and you need to make sure that how your deer adjust to your movements. On my property, and it took years to get here, guys, I can go hunting and I can hunt for 2 weeks. My deer still come out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Bucks are still moving everywhere by 3 o'clock. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I still got great bucks moving around my property. On most properties, a guy goes in one day, he sees a lot of deer. Next day it drops. The third day it drops. Most guys, after the first week of gun season, they ain't got movement no more. Now, what changed on there is only your impact. 90% of the people shutting down a property comes within the property. Now, everybody wants to be better, and that's all I'm trying to do, and it rubs people wrong sometimes when I'm talking like this. But guys, if you shoot a doe at the wrong time of the year, it will affect your property so many different levels. First of all, someone came up missing, so now that doe group moves less. As they hang in tighter to the cover, it means your buck's hanging in. He always sends the girls first. And then, if you shoot enough does, it affects the rut. And another thing is guys getting in and out. If you go in and you bump a deer, pay attention to how it affects the movement the next day. We have been so particular for many years, and we're working on a whole new system we're going to be talking about this year. We call it the Ultimate Hunting System. We can now hunt the whole season, and we do not change the deer. Now, it takes a lot of work, and you got to think about every little detail you're doing. But what I'm trying to do in a short period of time is to get you start looking at it. You can't fix something if you don't start looking at it.
Well, let me ask you this. So right now is the time to look at it. So
Yes.
as we're in January, February, March, April, because the season now is done.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a hunter, would you suggest maybe I do some videotaping out there to see the movement? Do you think I should go out my stand and still sit a little bit? Or should I not go out there at all?
Well, after the season, you should go out and evaluate your property. Right when the season will go out and see what the deer were using your property. Now, we do not want to be bumping these deer on a regular basis. You go out there and figure out what you need in one time, because these deer are at a stress level and you don't want to make their life worse. But go out, see where they bed, see where they traveled, see where they were eating, and then also go back, and you should have been keeping records. I talked about this, keeping records and how you're seeing deer, and go back and look at your notes and go, look, we shot a couple of does, and look how many days after that we didn't see nothing. Now, there's nothing wrong with shooting does, but in my opinion, Michigan shoots way too many does, okay? I'm going to be right up front. I don't care what anyone else says. Guys, I believe we shoot too many bucks because we shouldn't have the 2-buck system. Be better if we had one. That's my own personal opinion. And I also believe we shoot way too many does. Now, there's pockets that need doe shot, but there's too many doe permits left out to this public, and they think because they're there, they need to utilize them. You got to be your own land manager. If you're only seeing 3 or 4 does on your property, there is no way I would shoot a doe, because it is going to affect everybody. We have to work as a system. We have to work together to make us all land managers in our own way.
And really, you're talking about 12 months of the year. You're
Yes.
not talking about just during hunting season.
Yes.
You know, again, we're after the season right now, and so there's a lot of things that people can be doing.
Yes.
Just like you're talking about, evaluating, taking notes, looking at deer, making a mark on the times. But deer are a little different, say, in the spring
Yes.
than they are coming around to winter time for next year.
And that's a lot of people's property. The first part of the season, they're seeing tons of deer. They're bachelor groups. They got bachelor group pictures of nice bucks, and they're all excited. And then hunting season comes around, and they don't see one. Because what they don't realize, that buck in the summer is after totally something different than he wants in November and December. So you need to learn what them different things are. That's what we try to teach at the boot camp, is all these little things that are big. When you put them all together, they really make or break a property. And so you need to understand what they want, what the deer's mind frame is for 12 months, how it changes, and what his needs are changes. And then you can keep him happy on a property. And a guy can have it all, but he has to have all these little different ingredients. And it ain't that big of changes. You just got to know what to do and when to do it.
All right, Tony, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Great information today, talking about deer and manipulating them and keeping them on your land here. Tony the Pratt from Ultimate Land Management in the Whitetail Boot Camp. I'm Tim Hart, and you're watching the Q1 Buck Poll. Time now for our sponsor spotlight here on the Q1 Buck Poll. We're at Frank's Sporting Goods in Morley. I've got Vic Havens with us. Vic, welcome to the Buck Poll.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Tim.
All right, one of our locations where you can register your deer. Vic, we want to talk about some of the different aspects of the store here. In particular, let's start with the long guns. You know, I've got a Savage sitting right here, and you've got all kinds of selection here.
We do, actually. We carry everything from the low-end stuff all the way up into the higher quality stuff here. We carry a range of long guns, handguns, shotguns. Pretty much got everything the hunter or, you know, the sportsman would like to have this year.
Well, one thing that I think that people will appreciate too, a store that really customer service is your key, because you're behind the counter all the time. You're a person that's out in the woods a lot, and you can give them great advice.
You bet. I mean, that's all we do. You know, all of our people staffed in here. Got a few of my family members that work here. We all hunt, we fish, we trap, you know. So when a guy comes in here, you know, he's actually going to get the real world explanation. We're not going to just try to feed him a line. You know, we actually tell him what we've used, how we've used it, what the guys are using, whether it's fishing, whether it's hunting, whether it's trapping. You know, we give them the exact thing that they need.
Tell me about the Savage 110 here.
Savage 110, that's a real popular model for us. Last year, Savage put that package together. It comes with a Nikon BDC scope on it, about a $200 scope if we were to sell it separately. The Savage has got the AccuTrigger on it. It's got a really good barrel and everything. Accuracy is really good with it. So been a good seller for us. You know, it's retailing right in the mid 500s. You know, so really affordable for everybody.
All right, talking about guns here at Frank's Sporting Goods in Morley. Now let's move on to the rest of the shop. One of the things that you guys are known as, the place to come and get trapping supplies.
You got it. We got one of the biggest selections in West Michigan. That's one of my niches that I've always, put out there for everybody. Did a lot of trapping over the years. The fur market's really good right now. Muskrats are really high. Raccoon look like they're going to be pretty high this year. It's really going to be a great year, especially that first timer out there. You want to get the grandkid out. Everybody says, geez, I used to trap. Boy, I'd like to get my grandkid or my son or something like that. Going to be the year to do it. I mean, it's going to pay off this year. Last year, muskrats were averaging $15 at some of the sales. Back when I trapped, Tim, it was $2.50.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's a really big thing. You're right, back in the day, you got it. But yeah, we got a full line of trapping supplies here, from traps to scent making stuff. We got the scents, we got it all for you, and we got the knowledge to teach you how to do it.
All right, talk with Vic Havens here at Frank's Sporting Goods in Morley. Thanks for being with us, buddy.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
All right. We've got more coming up. You're watching the Q1 Buck Poll. Well, we've had a lot of big bucks come into the contest, and Mike, I'm not sure what it is, but bigger racks, less deer this year, but bigger racks.
Whatever it is, Tim, it's working.
Well, let's take a look at some big bucks here with Big Buck Hoffner.
Let's start out with Kevin Ostland from Southwest Michigan with a 9-pointer. His score is 44. Scott Vogt from South Mid Michigan brings in a nice 15-pointer. The score 54 3/4.
Well, I had a chance to interview a successful hunter here recently out of the Branch County area, Darren McCarty, and his big buck. Darren McCarty is with us from Union City, a successful hunter with an 11-pointer here on the Q1 Buck Poll. Darren, tell me about your hunt.
It was November 23rd. Cold, windy. Had a bunch of does, a few small bucks chasing does, and they kept looking in the woods, so I waited, and he came out probably, say, 40-45 yards, and I made a pretty good shot on him. He ran right to me, expired under my tree.
Well, that makes it easy tracking job, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like it like that.
Now, how many acres are you hunting out there?
About 170.
Okay, and then do you do any quality deer management on the land? Do you take a certain size, or how do you do it?
I don't shoot nothing, I'd say, under 125 inches.
Okay.
I let a lot of small bucks go. We don't really do no land management because the neighbors don't cooperate. They shoot everything, which,
Right.
You
got to get everybody else around you to cooperate to really make it effective, don't you?
Yeah. You can't, just shoot everything and expect to see stuff like this, a lot.
Exactly right. Now, had you ever seen this deer before on trail cams or anything?
I didn't personally see him. My step-uncle had him on trail camera with a few other pretty decent ones.
All right, and what'd you shoot him with?
Muzzleloader.
All right. You shoot with a muzzleloader all the time? He looked at one of our prizes and said, man, you need to dirty that thing up. I think he wants one of those.
Yeah. That's all I use for gun hunting because I just don't like to use a shotgun and then halfway through switch to a different weapon. And I just like to keep the same thing.
All right, so Darren, this is your biggest buck. How long you been hunting? Who you go hunting with?
I've been hunting since I was 12. Started with my dad and lost him in a car accident. And now I hunt with my stepdad and his brothers.
All right. What do you like most about being in the outdoors?
Just the peace and quiet. Just love wildlife.
Sometimes it's fun just to be a part of nature out there, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, congratulations. That's a good-looking deer, a great
Thank you.
score here. Darren McCarty from Union City. It's always fun to talk to hunters, and I've been doing that, for the last couple of months, actually. We've got more interviews coming up with successful hunters, but one of the prizes that we're giving away is a dart and crossbow.
Well, I happen to have one, Tim, that they donated to the show here. We've used it out in the woods, and quite frankly, I'm super impressed with how they shoot.
Ted Harpham is with me. I had a chance to catch up with him in September at the Woods and Water Outdoor Weekend, and he's going to talk all about the prize. Register today in the Q1 Buck Poll, and you have a chance to win the Darton Terminator. Ted Harpham is with us from Darton. Ted, tell us about the crossbow we're giving away.
Tim, this is a great package we've got for the Q1 Buck Poll this year. This is a Darton Terminator package. It's got the 4x32 scope. It's going to have the string suppressant on it. It's going to have the barrel suppressant on it. It's got a quiver. It's got a rope cocker. This bow shoots 340 feet per second. It's an awesome package. It only weighs 6.5 pounds.
It's light. It's something you want to take out in the woods. The Darton Terminator, one of the prizes we're giving away on the Q1 Buck Poll. That's just one of the prizes that we're giving away. We're also giving away CVA muzzle loaders. This is a Wolf rifle with a scope. It's got a case that goes with it. It's 50 caliber. And I'm telling you, Mike, these things will drop a deer, and they're just fun to be out in the woods with.
And they do it right now. I did it myself this year. Man, they go down like a ton of bricks.
Party's coming up. January 23rd, we're going to be at the Eagles in Coldwater. January 25th, we're going to be at the Country Smokehouse. It's a Saturday night. They're going to make all kinds of sausage and jerky and everything, so that's going to be a lot of fun. January 30th, we're at the Mosey Inn in downtown Morley, Michigan.
Well, I'll tell you. You know what, Tim? I'm going to have to get on my exercise program because we're eating a lot of food between now and the grand prize party.
And then February 7th, we're at Firekeepers Casino where we give away the ATV. It's a Yamaha Grizzly 350 ATV. If you're in the contest, you've got to be in attendance. At the end of the night, we're going to put all the hunters' names in, and one person is going to win that ATV.
You got to register to win. It's really simple. Get out and register your deer.
All right, and December 31st is the last day that you can do that.
Yep, it's the last day of the season. Got a lot of snow on the ground. I'll tell you what, the deer are in the feeding pattern right now. I happened to go out this past weekend. There were deer all over. I saw over 30 deer. They're all out looking for food.
Merry Christmas. I know the Christmas has passed. Hopefully you got all the presents that you wanted to get, and I'm sure you did because you've been such a good boy all year.
I've always been good, Tim.
Yeah, really is what I'm
Just
talking about.
look at this face. How could I not be a good boy?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for this edition of the Q1 Buck Poll. Again, we remind you to go to online, q1buckpoll.com. You can see all the bucks. You can there's some forms you can download. Again, December 31st. Buck or doe, get it registered. We got locations across the state, or you can again download that form and get registered.
You know, you don't have to. You say, "Oh God, I shot a deer and I didn't register." Bring that rack in. We'll register it for you.
All right. For Mike Big Buck Hoffner, I'm Tim Hart-Haverhill. Thanks for being with us this week on the Q1 Buck Poll. And whatever you're out in the woods or wherever you're at this time of the year, be safe.
What is
Are you ready now?
Are you ready?
Every time we say one, he goes.
Jimmer, we're screwing you up today. Sorry. We just want to get the show done.
He's on a time
Operator
limit.
here, I'm on a time limit,
we have
buddy.
a lot of
Usually I can blame Tim, but it's hooker this time.
It's a hooker. 2, 1. Yeah, hurry up, talk
Okay.
because it's going to shut
He's going
off.
to put his fingers on and turn it off again on us. And we had a good stretch going.
I know. Here we go. 2, 1. Welcome to the Q1 Buck Poll.